the universal military service system of the Qin dynasty, a total war apparatus that forged the first unified Chinese empire, and then tore it apart in just 15 years. This is not a loose militia system or a small professional army. It is a state-controlled law-enforced full population mobilization machine, rooted in Shangyang's reforms, refined over a century, and documented in the Shui Hudi, Qin, bamboo slips, the most authoritative primary source for Qin legal and social history. Every detail you will hear follows strict historical accuracy, rejecting folktales and unofficial histories, relying entirely on mainstream scholarly consensus, supported by excavated texts and classic records, like records of the Grand Historian and Book of Han. To understand Qin's conscription, you must first grasp its foundation, the Fuji registration system. This was not a simple census, but a legal act that bound every male to the state for life. According to the annals inscribed on the Shui Hudi bamboo slips, a man named Shi was born in 262 BC and registered for service at age 17 in 246 BCE. This is concrete proof that the standard starting age for Qin conscription was 17, not the later Han practice of 23, which many earlier scholars mistakenly applied to Qin. Once registered, a man remained liable for military and labor service until he reached 60, a threshold called mianlao, exemption from elder service. For 43 years, every able-bodied male was a potential soldier or laborer for the Qin state. No exceptions were made for ordinary commoners. Even minor offenses could not excuse one from duty, and high-ranking nobility were among the few granted full exemption. Qin's service structure was rigidly divided into 3 non-negotiable tiers: Gengzu, Zhengzu, and Shuzu. Each tier had fixed terms, fixed duties, and zero room for refusal. Let's break them down with brutal precision. First, Gengzu, alternating conscripts. This was annual, mandatory 1-month local labor service. Every registered man reported to his county or commandery to build city walls, repair roads, dig irrigation canals, transport grain, or construct public facilities. This was not optional volunteer work. It was a legal obligation enforced by local officials. Missing the deadline or performing poorly brought physical punishment or fines. Gengzu ensured the empire's infrastructure was maintained by its own people at almost no direct state cost, turning the entire population into a permanent construction brigade. Second, Zhengzu, regular conscripts. This was 1 full year of formal military training in one's home commandery. Recruits were trained into specialized units, Keiguan infantry, Qixi cavalry, and Luchuanqi naval marines. Drill masters enforced strict standards. Archers who missed targets, charioteers who could not control horses, and cavalrymen with unruly mounts all faced legal penalties under Qin military law. This year of training turned ordinary farmers into disciplined soldiers, creating a nationwide reserve force that could be mobilized at any moment. Unlike feudal armies of earlier dynasties, Qin soldiers were not loyal to local lords, but directly to the central government, a revolutionary shift that eliminated private war bands and concentrated all military power in the emperor's hands. Third, Shuzu garrison conscripts. This was 1 full year of active duty at the frontier, or guarding the capital city of Xianyang. Some guarded the Great Wall against Shengnu raids. Others garrisoned newly conquered southern territories. Still others protected the imperial palace and government districts. This tier turned regional recruits into a national army, projecting Qin power across thousands of kilometers. The Book of Han records that Qin service was 30 times heavier than ancient times, a claim supported by the fact that men often served beyond legal terms during major wars. The Qin state viewed military service as the highest moral duty, linking survival and glory directly to battlefield performance. 2 critical systems enforced this conscription machine: household registration, plus Shiwu collective punishment, and the 20-rank military merit system. The Qin state divided every village into units of 5 households, Wu, and 10 households, Shi. If one man evaded conscription, deserted, or failed to report his entire family, and neighboring households faced collective punishment, beatings, fines, loss of land, or even forced labor. This created a self-policing system where citizens monitored each other to avoid mutual ruin. No one could hide. Every male was registered, tracked, and accountable from age 17 to 60. Meanwhile, the military merit system rewarded soldiers with land houses, tax exemptions, and noble ranks for every enemy head taken in battle. A farmer could rise to nobility through combat. A low-ranking soldier could gain wealth and status. This incentive turned Qin soldiers into the feared wolf warriors of the Warring States period, feared by all 6 rival kingdoms. Qin law also included strict rules to prevent total social collapse. The servicemen law stipulated Tengju Wu Bingsheng, meaning number 2 adult males from the same household, could be conscripted at the same time. At least one man had to stay home to farm, ensuring food production did not collapse entirely. The state also used Zheshu exile, conscription, for criminals, slaves, and low-status groups, sending them to dangerous frontiers to reduce pressure on ordinary commoners, though this practice expanded wildly in the dynasty's final years. During the Battle of Changping, the bloodiest battle of the Warring States era, the Qin emperor personally traveled to Henei, granted a rank to every local man, and conscripted all males aged 15 and older to block Zhao's supply lines. This emergency mobilization showed the system's terrifying flexibility. In crisis, the state could lower the age and demand total service. After unification in 221 BCE, the system that conquered 6 kingdoms became a tool of overreach. Qin Shi Huang deployed hundreds of thousands of Shuzu to build the Great Wall, construct the Lishan Mausoleum, build the Yipang Palace, conquer southern Yue tribes, and fight northern Xiongnu. Legal service terms were ignored. Men were kept in service for years, far beyond the 1-year Shuzu limit. Farms were abandoned, families were torn apart. Anger boiled across the empire. The breaking point came in 209 BCE, when Chen Shi and Wu Guang led a group of conscripts facing the Qin law, late arrival, all executed. Faced with certain death, they rebelled, triggering a nationwide uprising that collapsed the Qin dynasty in 2 years. The conscription machine that built the empire destroyed it, crushed by its own cruelty and overdemand. This system reveals a dark truth about state power. A mobilization machine that works perfectly for conquest can become a death trap when misused. Qin's conscription was not chaotic violence. It was a rational, legal, highly organized system that redefined how states control populations. It created China's first unified empire, but also showed the mortal danger of total war without limit. Every excavated bamboo slip, every legal clause, every record of desertion and punishment reminds us that this empire was built not just by emperors and generals, but by millions of anonymous men, forced to serve, fight, build, and die for a state that demanded everything and gave little in return. If you enjoyed this journey into ancient China, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more epic history. See you next time.